What is going on, guys? This is Daniel. And so a while back on this channel, I asked you guys, would you like it if I made an NBA podcast? You guys said yeah. So I have made an NBA podcast. You can go to the link in the description and you can find it there. But what I would simply suggest is go on iTunes podcast and search Coach Daniel NBA. And what this podcast is going to be is blending NBA and really focusing on the X's and O's strategy element of it. And I'm excited for that. And the first episode is up. I recorded it yesterday with Bradley Heltzel as my guest. And Bradley does really good work on NBA Twitter and about analyzing the NBA. And he'll be doing some work as well on this channel in the near future, which I'm excited for. On the podcast we did yesterday, we talked about week 1 in the NBA. We covered a lot of stuff, including OKC's offense, as well as things like how to defend the pick and pop and how two bigs can fit in the modern NBA. And I also did a mailbag at the end from questions from Instagram. Now, one thing to keep in mind about this podcast is that it's episode 1. It's an imperfect podcast. I'm going to improve over time. The audio is going to get better over time. And for example, on this podcast, I stumbled over my words a lot. And just keep in mind, be patient with me that the podcast will improve over time. Though in this first podcast, it was a good start as a lot of solid information was discussed. And it was a good time with Bradley. Okay. So on to the channel, and basically I know there hasn't been a ton of videos on the channel recently, but that's been because I've been watching a ton of NBA and preparing for videos in the future. So this channel it's heading in the right trajectory, and you guys will like some of the content I'll have out for sure. Finishing up with some final notes, basically if you want to, I'm not going to make a video like this, of course, every time I make a podcast, which will be every week or two. So you're going to have to subscribe on iTunes if you want to hear the podcast, or follow me on Twitter where I will post every podcast episode. And if you do like the podcast, I would really appreciate if you give me a rating and a review. That would help me out a lot. That's it, guys. Follow me on Instagram at I am Coach Daniel, and I'll see you soon.